17 we fell in love, high school sweethearts. Love was so brand new. We took the vows of man and wife, forever for life. I remember how we made our way, a little patience, the times we prayed. hot lady. Gotta cool this anger. What a mess we made so long ago. You were my love, oh my love. Flying high, we never took the time to stop and feel the need. Funny how those years go by, changing you, changing me. I remember love's fever in our hearts, girl, and in our minds. Can't imagine that this love is through. Feeling the pain, girl, when you lose. Oh, it's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta run for shelter, gotta run for shade. It's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta cool this anger. What a mess we made so long ago. You were my love. Feeling the pain. Oh, it's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta run for shelter, gotta run for shade. It's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta cool this anger from this mess that we made. It's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta run for shelter, gotta run for shade. It's too hot, so hot, lady. At 17 we fell in love, high school sweethearts. Love was so brand new. We took the vows of man and wife, forever, for life. I remember how we made our way, a little patience, the times we prayed. Can't imagine that this love is through. Feeling the pain, girl, when you lose. Oh, it's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta run for shelter, gotta run for shade. It's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta cool this anger. What a mess we made so long ago. You were my love, oh my love. Flying high, we never took the time to stop and feel the need. Funny how those years go by, changing you, changing me. I remember love's fever in our hearts, girl, and in our minds. Can't imagine that this love is through. Feeling the pain, girl, when you lose. Oh, it's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta run for shelter, gotta run for shade. It's too hot, too hot, too hot, lady. Gotta cool this anger. What a mess we made so long
again. How's everything down there?
Good down here. We
Okay.
still here.
All right. Good deal. Okay. So I guess we can get ready for another episode of Health Facts here.
Yes,
See
sir.
what we can provide for the people.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second and I got you.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Wondering where you was
Okay.
at.
Yeah, it was for whatever reason it was busy for a little bit. I'm not sure what happened. So I was like, oh man, that's not good.
All right, I got the right. Hold on for 1 minute.
No problem.
Shelter, gotta run for shade. It's too hot, too hot, lady.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was Tommy Elson here at WVOE. Stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for a health fair with the Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown is coming up now.
All right, all right, all right. Good afternoon, listeners. You're locked into WVOE, the voice of Ebony, where your health is our heartbeat. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Brown, president and founder of Pressure MD Academy, welcoming you to another enriching session of Health Facts, the show where wisdom meets wellness and knowledge is always in season. So thank you once again for tuning in. Those of you on the radio, those of you that are out in the internet world, thank you as well for tuning in for this. Last week we talked a little bit, gave some safety advice about water safety, and when it comes to water safety, what season of the year is it? It's summertime. It's hot. I'm sure everybody has experienced the heat that's been going on for the last couple of weeks. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about, staying safe uh, when the heat is high. What is it about heat that's a danger to our health and to ourselves, and how to protect yourself and your family from this. Okay. So, right now, I know everybody's experiencing it. The sun is beating down, the humidity is thick, the temperatures are soaring. We're sitting here, we almost want winter again. Almost, not quite. When we almost want winter again, okay? Summer means, cookouts, vacations, family time, family reunions, that we do all that stuff. But this level of heat can become a serious public health issue. One of the things we have to realize it can affect anyone, but it poses a special risk to our elderly loved ones, our young children, and individuals that may have some chronic health conditions. Those people have to really monitor what's going on there. Okay, so we're going to aim to we're going to try and we're going to we're going to arm you with some knowledge you need to protect yourself and your community. We're going to talk about some 7 of the top dangers for high heat. We're going to clarify the difference between heat exhaustion and the life-threatening condition of heat stroke. We're going to give you some practical, easy-to-follow tips for staying cool, whether you're at home, at play, or working outdoors. And you're going to walk away with that information today. Okay. So let's start with a big picture. Okay. How does extreme heat affect your bodies? Okay. Our bodies are an amazing machine. Okay. We actually have a built-in air conditioner, and it's called sweating. Okay. So before there were air conditioners, we had sweat. Okay. So that's just part of our anatomy, our body, how we function. We have an air conditioner that is designed for high heats. Okay. So we have that. But, so when you sweat, the evaporation of that moisture, it really cools your skin down, and tries to take the heat from the center of the body kind of out and dissipate it. But when it's extremely hot and humid, your body has to work overtime. The sweat doesn't evaporate as quickly, and that's how it gets that heat off of you. And it makes it harder for your body to release heat. And this can kind of overwhelm the system basically. It's kind of like a air conditioner that I guess runs over time and at some point in time breaks, it cannot function or not function as effectively. So this can the same thing can happen with your body's own temperature regulation symptoms system. Okay. So and they can lead to certain problems. Now, this is especially dangerous for certain vulnerable populations. Okay. There are seniors, So as we age, our ability to regulate body temperature kind of decreases. Many older adults also have conditions like heart conditions, kidney disease conditions. They may take medications that can interfere with hydration and our ability to respond to heat. Okay, so we got that going on. Then we got our children. Okay, so those seniors are at one extreme, children are at the other extreme. You know, a child's body heats up 3 to 5 times faster than an adult body. Okay, a lot of times they play hard, they don't recognize the early signs of dehydration or overheating, and so they are particularly vulnerable. Okay, so remember that their body heats up 3 to 5 times faster than adults. Granted, they also run 3 to 5 times. Like they always run it, so that may be contributing as well. But like I said, we have to keep them in mind as well. Then those individuals that have pre-existing conditions. So if you have heart conditions, high blood pressure, respiratory issues, all those things can be put at risk whenever we are exposed to high temperatures, right? So we got to remember those. So the three really vulnerable populations are our seniors, children, and those with pre-existing medical conditions. Okay. So let's talk about 7 dangers that kind of manifest whenever we are in a high temperature environment or with high heat. Okay. So number 7, we're gonna start is worsening air quality. And I think a lot of times you notice whenever the temperature goes up at a certain level, we get these air quality alerts, right? And high temperatures are, the pollutants in the air. There's ground level ozone that can make it harder to breathe, especially if you have asthma or COPD, different sorts of pollutants, you're a little more irritable and stuff of that nature. So there are a lot of things that can affect the air quality that whenever the temperature gets higher. So we have to be aware of you know, of how it affects our ability to breathe or the quality of our air that we actually breathe. So that's a danger or warning system. Okay. Number 6, sunburn. Okay. And a lot of people think it is minor, but it actually is serious. Because sunburn is a first or second degree burn. I mean, like you're burning, you're literally at burning. I think a lot of times we don't think of it as much because, like I said, everybody, a lot of people can get sunburn, but it really is a first or second degree burn, and that's not what we're supposed to have happen, right? It does damage your skin. And it also affects your body's ability to cool itself. So we have to be aware of that as well. Exacerbation of chronic illness. And this is something people really don't talk about. The stress that the heat puts on your body can worsen conditions like heart failure. Also, if you got kidney disease, remember you remember the sweating is the cooling system. So if it's hotter, you're gonna sweat more. If you sweat more, you at more prone to dehydration. And when you're dehydrated, it can affect the way your blood circulates, make it harder for organs, especially if those organs are already damaged. Okay. So we have to think about that. Heat-related hospitalizations don't always have to be for heat stroke. They could be for some other condition. Like I said, maybe you got extra stress and maybe you had a heart attack, or somebody finds out your kidneys aren't working as well, and it's because you got dehydrated because of that, or respiratory stress. We talked about how the heat affects the air quality. Maybe all that stuff could be exacerbated by heat. Okay. Then, of course, number 4, dehydration. Of course, a lot of times, a lot of the things that we're going to mention about the heat, this actually is the root cause of the condition is that you're getting dehydrated. So we always want to make sure that we stay aware of this and that we are keeping ourselves drinking, because it's not just about feeling thirsty. Severe dehydration can lead to stuff like dizziness, confusion, and put strain on the organs, like I said before. So dehydration is not something mild. A lot of times we treat it as if it's mild, but really, we have to be aware of the fact that this can be a serious condition. Okay. Then there's number 3, heat cramps. And this can be a first sign the body is struggling. You might get some muscle cramps in legs and belly after strenuous activity. And this can be a warning bell to cool down, hydrate, get yourself back together. It's kind of your body saying, giving you a warning sign. Okay. Then we get down to, 2 of the conditions that are really important: heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Okay. Think of heat exhaustion as the warning sign, yet again, another warning sign before you develop the life-threatening emergency of heat stroke. Okay. So heat exhaustion is a sign that your body's overheating. Okay. This is what happens when your body is losing too much water and salt. And then again, this is through heavy sweating. Okay. So you're losing too much salt, you're using too much water. People start, you might get, you'll notice you got heavy sweating. Your skin might start to get cool, pale, and clammy. Um, you know, your blood pressure is starting, heart rate is starting to speed up a little bit. Maybe you got a weak pulse. You could get nauseous, have a headache. You know, you know, you you may get a little faint, but you are still mentally aware and things are, going, you're aware, you're not confused yet. Okay. So this is your cue. This is your cue. So heat exhaustion is your cue to act fast. You need to get out of the direct heat into something cooler. Like I said, if you're out outside, find some shade. Um, or if great, it'd be great if you get air conditioning room, but if you can't get air conditioning, at least get into the shade. Okay, loosen up the clothing. Okay, yeah, you want to start sipping water. Sip, not drink too fast, but sipping the water, and then you want to use cool, wet cloths to cool the body down, or if you have access to it, take a cool bath. Okay. Now, if the heat exhaustion is not addressed, it can lead to what we call a heat stroke. And a heat stroke is a life-threatening medical emergency. A heat stroke is whenever your internal temperature rises to over 103 degrees Fahrenheit. What this means is that your natural mechanism for regulating your temperature is no longer working. Okay, so now we're at a whole different ball game. This is now this is now a problem here. So and that's what I was thinking about. Okay. And so yeah, so we need to make sure that, for this, that we are that you're taking care of this. So, what are the signs? So, what are the signs that person stops sweating? So heat, so the sign before is that, when we were talking about heat exhaustion, you're sweating a lot. Heat stroke, you may stop sweating. Okay. The skin starts to get hot, red, and dry, sometimes damp. You got a rapid, heart's beating real fast, and you probably will see what we call neurologic changes. So that person's confused, seems delirious. If it's real bad, they even get seizures. So if you see this, 911, call 911. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Call 911. You need somebody to really evaluate this person. You need to see if you can do something to cool them down. Um, you know, and you may have to watch it. And at this stage, you may have to be cautious about giving them anything to drink because they may be too confused to drink properly. So lowering the body temperature is the priority in this time. Okay. So how do we prevent these changes? We done talked about it. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. You need to drink, okay? You need to drink before you feel thirsty, okay? So, if it's hot out there and you're outside, you need to drink before you feel thirsty. This is especially important for kids. If you got kids, they're not gonna stop what they're doing until something bad happens. So you got to say, hey, every 20 minutes, 30 minutes, somewhere around there, like I said, make sure that they come in, they drink some water, even when they don't want to, especially them toddlers, because they don't want to do anything you want to tell them, right? So make sure that they're drinking. Keep them water around. Make sure they're sipping. Make sure they're drinking about a glass of water at least every hour, probably more frequently than that. And then you want to avoid caffeine. You want to avoid alcohol because those things can actually dehydrate you. Okay. You want to dress for the heat, lightweight, loose fitting clothes, preferably light colored. Cotton and linen are great choices for this. You want to stay indoors during peak heat. Usually the hardest part of the day is between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in most places. So you want to see if you can get stuff done either before or after that. Okay. Seek air conditioning. If you don't have AC at home, see if you have a public library around there, community cooling center, senior center, shopping mall. And this can make a great difference in helping your body to recover. Okay. Do not leave anybody alone in a parked car. Okay. Not children, not elderly people, not pets. Cars can get hot super fast. That if that child is in there, I'm just gonna go in there and get something real quick, and you leave that child in that car seat, something of that nature, that car will heat up much faster than you think. And like I said, and this could turn into a tragedy. So you want to make sure that you avoid that. Okay. Now for those who have to work outside, construction crews, landscapers, farm workers, many others, okay, you're in the front lines of the heat, okay, and of course you got to do your work, you got to get your job done, right? So you want to start your work early in the day if possible, to avoid the peak sun, or at least get as much work as you can done. You want to drink water every 15 to 20 minutes, even if you don't feel thirsty, because your body is losing fluids a lot faster than you realize. You want to schedule frequent breaks in the shade or air conditioned space. And like I said, you want to do that to keep your body temperature under control. Use the buddy system. Keep an eye on your coworkers for any signs of heat illness like confusion or stumbling. And listen to your body. If you're feeling dizzy, nauseous, weak, stop, get to a cool place. If you have a supervisor, inform your supervisor. Remember, your health comes first, okay? All right, make sure you do that. And then you want to check on your neighbors, especially elderly that live alone. Watch any kids that may be around. Make sure everybody's got plenty of access to water and stuff of nature. And if you want more information, you can always turn to trusted resources like the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They have a great section on their website, cdc.gov/heat. And then if you're an outdoor worker, there's actual rules, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. So OSHA.gov/heat. So that's another source as well. So that's it for today, fam. I mean, I think that this is really important. I do want to leave you about 5 facts about heat regulation with and without water. So we talked a little bit about sweating, and sweating is your body's natural cooling system. It's 99% water. Without enough fluid, your body can't sweat effectively, and that causes internal temperatures to rise quickly. Dehydration actually reduces blood volume, and it makes it harder to cool down. So this becomes a problem. So like I said, you get dehydrated, and now it's harder to cool down. And this is why we keep telling people to keep drinking water. You want to keep that blood volume elevated so you can actually cool off a little bit more. Even mild dehydration, 1 to 2% of body weight loss, impairs temperature regulation. So that's when people start getting dizzy, weak, or confused. And that's a sign that you're starting to struggle a little bit. Hydrated bodies recover faster from heat exposure. So as long as you keep that body hydrated, it really can recover a lot faster. And then, they're kind of saying the same thing, but like without water, your body can't send enough blood to your skin to cool you. So that's where the cooling comes from. You got some small, what we call capillaries there, and so like I said, as that water is evaporating, it's actually cooling those capillaries and it takes it back to the body. It's getting rid of the excess heat. So this is kind of our what we have for today. Hopefully this is helpful to everybody that's listening, and just remember, like I said, the heat is no joke. I mean, the heat is no joke, but we also have a body that's designed for high heat, is designed to self-regulate. We just have to make sure that we give it what it needs to do its job, and what it needs is water. So make sure you stay hydrated out there. Everybody stay hydrated, stay safe, and enjoy the summer. Like I said, hey, look, the good thing is you get plenty of vitamin D. All right, everybody. So hopefully that's all for today. Any questions or anything that we have out there?
Oh, sir.
All right. Sir. Cool. All right, sounds good. Well, thanks again for having me on WVOE, the voice of Ebony. Like I said, and we look forward to chatting with you all again next week.
Yes, sir. Nice to hear from you.
Good to hear from you as well. Take care. Bye.